welcome to Reimagining Chapel. My name is Amanda Esco, and I am the director of the Religious Education Program at the First Unitarian Church of Salt Lake City. Thank you for joining us today. We are in October, friends. Do you remember what this month's theme is in RE? If you don't, I'm going to remind you. The theme for this month in RE is deep listening. All month, we are going to be exploring ways that we listen, who we're listening to, and where we're listening in our own bodies. Thank you for being here with us today. Let's start by lighting our chalice. Symbol of light, symbol of knowledge, symbol of warmth, symbol of freedom. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith. Here we gather to celebrate hope and the infinite possibilities of love. So I am so glad we are all here with us today. And as you can tell, I'm doing Reimagining Chapel from my own home today. As we are learning this year, the need to be flexible is so important. And today I'm being flexible and we are holding this here in my home. So thanks for being here. We like to start off Reimagining Chapel by taking a couple grounding breaths together. We breathe in community together, even while we're separately, to remind us of our space and connect us to ourselves. Let's take 2 really big deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. Are you ready? Okay, let's breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. In through our nose. Let's do that one more time. In through our nose, out through our mouth. Thank you for taking those deep, grounding breaths with me. I don't know about you, but I even squished my toes into the ground so I could feel that resistance against me. Another thing that we'd like to do in Reimagining Chapel is joys and concerns. This is a time when we share with each other, even virtually, what's going well and what's not, as well as the people that are living and loving us in our homes. So today, I think that my big joy is that we have now been doing RE for a month, and I've been able to see all of your faces, both in our Reimagining Chapels on Zoom, as well as our classroom gatherings that have also been happening on Zoom. It's been wonderful to see you, to be in community, and even meet new people. That has been a joy. So that's my joy for the week, that I keep getting to see you. What's going well for you? What do you maybe want to talk about with the people that are with you, that love you? I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. Thank you for sharing your joys and concerns. I know it seems a little funny as we're talking through a screen to keep sharing these, but I really feel it's important. And I feel it's an important ritual, not only for our own worship services, whether it be on Zoom or at home, but with our own families. So thanks for being brave and sharing what's going well and what's not. Miss Lissa has a new UU of the week for us. Thank you, Lissa.
The Religious Education Assistant at the First Unitarian Church of Salt Lake City. And I'm so excited to talk to you today about our new UU of the week, Annie Bizzell Jordan Willis. She was born on May 30th, 1893 in Lewisburg, North Carolina. Miss Annie was a teacher and spent most of her life running a school in Virginia, which gave African American children equal access to a quality education long before Brown versus the Board of Education. Miss Annie's father, Joseph Fletcher Jordan, was a Presbyterian minister, but he struggled with the concepts like hell and eternal punishment so much that he quit his job But then he became a universalist because they believed that every person is universally saved. Jordan was one of the first African American Universalist ministers in America. In 1904, Annie B. Jordan and her father moved with the rest of their family to Suffolk, Virginia, where her father took over control of the Suffolk Normal Training School. Annie B. Jordan started teaching in that school when she was a teenager and just never left. Annie married, had a daughter, and eventually separated from her husband. When her father passed away, Miss Annie took control of the school. The Jordan Normal Training School, as it was later renamed, started as a Universalist mission school to educate African American children in that community who were not allowed to attend neighborhood schools due to segregation. We remember that segregation meant separate. Everything was separate for Black and white Americans, from schools to housing to healthcare. Everything was supposed to be equal, but this was never the case. But the Jordan Normal Training School offered a quality education to all children and actually became a model of integration with both Black and white students more than 30 years before public schools were forced to integrate. And it was a wonderful school. Many graduates went on to become very successful and important members of their community. This reminds us that one good teacher can change the world. Miss Annie stayed at the school through many changes in names and vision. The Universalist Church leadership in Boston decided that they wanted to offer more to the community in Virginia, like healthcare and job training. They were well-intentioned, but forced these changes on Miss Annie without even asking her. This is unfortunately a solid example of white supremacy, when the white male leadership who were far away in Boston made sweeping decisions without the input from a woman of color who was actually running the school in Virginia. As a result, the school suffered, and so did Miss Annie's relationship with the church. But she persevered and kept teaching. Even though the number of grades offered kept shrinking, eventually only Miss Annie's kindergarten class remained. When the Universalists, who favored long-term mission projects like the school, merged with the Unitarians, who preferred short-term mission work, the school lost even more of its support. But Annie B. Jordan Willis kept the school open with fundraising until she retired in 1974. Remember, her family first became involved with the school 70 years before that. Her last words to her successor at the school were, "Watch out for my children." The school lasted 7 more years after her death. Annie B. Jordan Willis was a Universalist and a gifted educator. She was remembered most fondly for her loving and kind nature and firm commitment to anti-racism and providing equal opportunity to all children. And I'm so happy to add her to our UU of the Week collection.
Hi, thanks for being here. Let's see what's inside our Wonder Box today. Okay. Oh, I have a big ol' heart. And it has the word listen on it. That's kind of funny. This month, we're doing a deep dive into the idea of listening deeply. We're going to be talking about listening to our own hearts. And today, I found a really great book that talks just about this. Let's read it together. Listening with My Heart by Gabby Garcia. Esperanza's tummy fluttered as she practiced her lines on the porch. Today was the class play. Waiting for Mama to walk with her to school, she paced back and forth when she spotted a heart-shaped rock. Esperanza picked it up and showed it to Mama as soon as she walked out. "Well, I see you found a little treasure," said Mama. She rubbed its rough surface and felt a twinkle of joy. "Maybe it's a sign." "For what?" asked Mama. Esperanza thought about the class play later that afternoon and wondered what it would be like to be in the spotlight. "To put my heart into everything I do," she answered. At that moment, she heard a scratching and soft cry. Esperanza peeked under the stairs and spotted a kitty shaking and shivering. No mama in sight. She scooped the kitten onto her lap and cuddled her. "She's all alone. I think she's hungry." Esperanza reached for her lunch bag, picked off a piece of chicken, and offered it up to the kitty, who gobbled it up. "Mama, I think the rock is a reminder to spread kindness and love. That's what we do when we listen with our hearts." "I think you're on to something," said Mama. "Can we keep Cleopatra, please?" asked Esperanza, who'd already named the kitty. "Well, queens are always welcome at our house," said Mama. "If she's here after school, we'll take her in." At school, Esperanza was more focused on the play than on reading or math. Clutching her script during recess, she noticed Bao sitting alone on a bench. He was new in school this week and didn't speak English. She wondered if he felt lonely or scared. Esperanza found a soccer ball and kicked it over to him. A smile spread across Bao's face. He stood, popped the ball into the air, and bounced it with his knee and head a few times. "Dude's got moves," thought Esperanza. They spent the rest of recess giggling and making up hand signals. Afterwards, Esperanza borrowed Mrs. Owen's English to Vietnamese dictionary. She wrote "friend" in Vietnamese, drew a picture of Bao and her, and then placed it on his desk. Esperanza rubbed the rock in her pocket. Listening with her heart made her feel so peaceful inside. Finally, it was time for the performance. It was too late for Bao to be in the play, but he stood with Miss Owen's side and as a stagehand. Excitement bubbled as Esperanza awaited her cue. Esperanza walked on stage and tripped as she was about to say her very first line, splattered across the stage. When she got up, Esperanza forgot her lines, so Mrs. Owens whispered them to her from backstage. Heat rushed through Esperanza's body as all eyes were glued to her. She wished she could disappear. "I ruined the play," Esperanza thought, rushing off stage as soon as she finished her part. "I've messed everything up in front of everyone." She tucked herself in behind some props so no one could see her. Esperanza noticed her body shaking and her face still burning. She took a deep breath and tears streamed down her face. Esperanza dug the rock out of her pocket. It was cracked and lopsided, just how she felt. Esperanza touched her hand to her heart and felt the disappointment. A few minutes later, Bao walked over and handed Esperanza a drawing of her with the word "friend" written above it. Esperanza nodded. She realized she hadn't been treating herself like a friend. Esperanza realized this wasn't the first time she'd been unkind to herself. At the soccer game last weekend, she'd missed the ball and swooshed by her head, and they lost the game. "Nice work," a player from that team yelled as the others laughed. Esperanza thought that she had let her team down and was the worst soccer player in the whole world. Thinking those thoughts made her feel worse. At the curtain call, Esperanza reminded herself that she hadn't ruined the play. She had an accident, and accidents happen to everyone. Listening with her heart wasn't just about spreading kindness and love to others. It was about giving it to herself too. "I can be a friend to myself," thought Esperanza. When Esperanza got home, she decided to do some of her favorite things. She zipped down the hill on her bike and then spent the afternoon painting the kitchen table. She also got a hug she needed from Mama and cuddles from Cleopatra. That was such a good book. I think for people, it's really easy to get tangled up in situations and even in our own feelings and not listen to our hearts. When we listen to our hearts by reaching out to others, helping people in need, and taking care of ourselves, we're listening to our hearts to find out what we need to feel safe, happy, and loved. It's important. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. To find out more information about the First Unitarian Church, please visit us at slcuu.org. Until next time, though, let's heart out.
Each person is important. To be kind in all you do. 3, help each other.